I fly without wings. I go fast when you're happy and slow when you're sad. I stop for no one. What am I? Now, I'm sure many of you have heard that riddle before. And spoilers, the answer for that is actually time. And the thing about time is it's something that we all want to spend doing, with things that we love. We never want to waste time. And for many people, that perfect use of time is their third place. They enjoy spending time in these third places. But we've recently seen some studies that have come out that have shown that these third places are disappearing. Now, is that a worrying trend, something we need to be concerned about? Or are we heading towards a surprising alternative? Well, welcome back to Totally Justified. And today I'm going to be your host. And we're going to be talking about something that's quietly shaping all of our lives. Your third place. Now, what makes one? And why are they disappearing? And could the internet potentially replace them? Well, I'm Josh, and I'm joined with
Theo.
We're back. Episode 3. It's been a whole month since we started this
Pretty much.
venture. How's it been? How's it been going with this?
We've kept it consistent. That's for sure. We've kept it going for a lot longer
Than we thought we would.
I probably thought we would.
Yeah.
Jeez. But yeah, starting off the podcast with a riddle.
Mm.
Right. I see.
Keep people on their toes. Get them guessing.
It's going in with a bang. I like that. Nah, it's been good. Everyone's been talking about it. There's some topics that people bring up in just day-to-day conversations. And I'm like, well, we talked about that on our podcast, by the way.
Yeah.
And it's like a free promotion. Everyone's like, oh, really? Totally justified. Well, hey, guys, the ones that are tuning in, if you are going to tune in for this episode.
And I think this topic is quite an interesting one. I think it's one of those that a lot of people don't actually think about that much, especially when it comes to that phrase "third place." Like even before when we were coming up with ideas for episodes, I remember I questioned you on this because I actually didn't know what a third place was. So actually, to start off, how about you help us to set the scene, describe what a third place is then?
I mean, like you say, I saw the term. It was actually used third space.
Third space.
It can be both. It can
Yeah.
be both. But essentially, what a third space is typically you have home as your first space. Then as your second space is usually school or work. And then for your third space, it's anywhere that you frequent outside of those two that I mentioned at the beginning, essentially.
Okay.
It's more of a social kind of thing
Yeah.
as well. So yeah, just things that have more community out of that is separate from those 1 and 2.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. And I think it really got me thinking of how many third spaces have we been a part of. I was trying to think back to, as early as my childhood, where have we been spending our third space? Where has that been? And the one thing that always came to mind was Spider Park. That was
the
third space. Yeah, I remember. That was after school, first thing we would always rush to. Yeah. There was also the other parks, Senley Park as well. That was a good one. Yeah.
It wasn't as live.
Yeah, it wasn't as live.
Maybe it was, but I don't know. Spider Park was the one.
Is there any other third spaces that you remember?
I'll be honest with you, mate. I was going to say Spider Park as well. Like, what other community thing can I think of that I was part of?
Secondary school. I remember you spent some time in, was it town? Wasn't that your big place going to? Was that active?
That wasn't that active. I'll be honest with you. No, not in secondary school. Like I wasn't that active in town. I think if you're gonna say like even after school clubs, like that technically is a third space.
Yeah, that's true.
And yeah, well, I was part of a few. Not many know this, but I did ocarina once upon a time.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. That was my third space for a bit. So when I tell people, they're like, what is that? And I'll be like, well, I can play London's Burning.
Yep.
And that's about it. So
yeah, I'm surprised how long we managed to keep that ocarina.
Mate, that ocarina's cold.
Survived.
I love the ocarina. Yeah, no, Spider Park was the third space. I think it was, you run from school. And I think the one thing I like about third spaces is that it's something to look forward to. You finish school, work, whatever it is, and you know that you're going to be part of something
Yeah.
later on. And
Yeah.
I don't know if you, Josh, remember when we tried to come back in after we've just
Oh, yeah.
been at the park, and you have to try and sneak in. If
Thinking,
not, mum
yeah.
just closes the door, and
Been out for too long. Come back.
basically, and
Yeah.
that's it. You're stuck in those spaces, man.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good one. And I think as well, for this episode, I tried to ask a few others what their third spaces were, and I got a few responses. So the current responses I got were from Sam, Rish, Elliot, and Regan. Now they had quite a varying third spaces. We had concerts, we had Muay Thai, squash club, and go-karting slash motorsports society. So quite the range of
That is
different
quite a
activities.
range.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Mm-mm. But there was a bit of an argument about concerts. Would you consider a concert to be a third
Mate,
space?
as soon as you said that, I was like, okay, here's the thing. It isn't as frequent. Unless you're going to a rave all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. But I think what makes a third space is the frequency of it as well.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah.
again, you could also argue that you are having a community of people doing a shared interest. And obviously,
Yeah. Nah, I get that. And I think that was the argument that they was brought up. I think Rich mentioned it. It was, is it consistent or do you do it enough for it to classify as a third space?
that's the thing.
I reckon maybe. I think he does go to quite a few concerts, so
Okay.
I'm willing to let it slide. But
Okay. Well,
yeah,
fair enough.
it is an interesting one of what
Interesting.
makes a third space. And kind of building more on that, I've noticed this kind of trend, especially with, the modern workplace, your place of work, your second space. That second space, a lot of the times we're seeing this kind of push to make it be this fun, zone that you can be in. Like, even though you're at work, they're trying to, do different activities to just kind of liven the mood a little bit. Maybe culture clubs here or coffee runs that people love to do. Maybe they'll add some beanbags, all that kind of stuff. So just on that, it got me thinking about that show, Severance. A lot of people have been,
good show.
watching it, recommending it. And essentially, do you want to kind of describe the main plot of the show? What is Severance just kind of about?
For those who don't know, for those who have been living under the rock, Severance essentially is, in the canon name, they sever their work life from their personal life, essentially. So main character gets to work, goes into an elevator, and he sort of switches to his work mode. If that makes sense. So they've severed your brain into two, essentially.
Yeah.
So now the work version only sees work all the time. It's that age-old thing that we always try to think about. Man, I wish I just could switch off my brain and just wake up. That's basically what Severance is. Like, switch off your brain for work, and then outside of it, that's it.
Yeah.
Obviously, there was a purpose to that. It was to keep company secrets and whatever, because they were doing some really classified work. But that is what Severance was about.
It's a very interesting plot. I think just thinking about that, we see there's like this split between your outside work and inside work. But currently we're seeing almost like the opposite, where they're trying to make, at least in modern workplaces, they're trying to make that workplace more, almost become a sort of third space. Now, do you think that's something?
No.
No? Oh, you don't?
No.
Okay. Interested.
Yeah, I'm quick with this.
Why? What's your reason?
I'll be honest. Blurring the lines between, well, I just don't think it's something that should be done. Blurring the lines between 1 and 2, right?
Yeah.
Is one thing. But then adding the third space part of it to make it more of a community. I think my reasoning is the way the cadence, the voice I speak to my colleagues at work, the mindset I'm in at work is different to when I'm in a third space.
Yeah.
Right? Now, you can easily make friends with people at work and then talk about things outside of work. True. But typically when you're on working time, you want to really be talking about work
Yeah.
all the time. So to me, I don't think the blend, having this sort of fun work culture makes sense.
Yeah.
Because work doesn't get done. It's either work or you play.
Yeah.
It's the age-old saying of play hard, work hard, play hard. You know,
Yeah.
exactly. It's the reward at the end. Why
Mm.
would I need to do both at the same time? I don't know. I think it switches your pleasure receptors in your brain.
Yeah.
Like, not reward, dopamine. There we go.
Yeah.
Your dopamine receptors. It's not. I don't think it's good in that regards.
Interesting. See, initially, that's how I used to think. I've always
Okay.
thought separate the two, but I've started to almost come around to the idea that maybe your second place can be a third space. I think for me, I think you brought up a good point about how you're kind of like in work mode. You only want to talk about work, but I can see the benefit in making work a bit more enjoyable.
Okay. Go. Explain yourself.
So, like, imagine, yes, you got work, you're focused on that. But if you've got elements in your work that you can enjoy, almost like you take yourself out of work mode and you can just enjoy it. I think if companies push that, I think that can be quite beneficial.
You think?
Yeah. I think for morale as well,
Okay.
especially because I think if more people are motivated to, motivated by these additional features, additional third spaces that the company tries to put in. I don't really think that I think, yeah, we'll probably see a decline in the need for external third spaces because if you can have your fun at work, I mean, why would you? You're already there for, how many hours? 8 hours. So if you could spend some of those 8 hours, or maybe even after it, immediate after work, those 8 hours, doing something fun. I feel like that could be beneficial. Could be good.
Okay, but does a third space need to be fun for it to be classed as a third space? I think there's a reason why there's a distinction.
Yeah.
And it's why I don't think they should be mixed.
Yeah.
Because there's a third space.
Yeah.
For a reason. It's separate from the second one. Separate from the first one. They're meant to be separate.
Yeah.
Obviously with the working from home, it blurs the line even more between 1 and 2 because I get out of bed
and I'm straight
to work mode. But I think you can also apply that to 2 and 3 because 2 is work mode. How do I then switch to the, let's just say, fun side of it and then back to work?
Yeah.
Think about this. I don't know. This is my mind. Here's what I'm thinking. If you put a table tennis board in the middle of the office, right? Let's just say it's quarterly report week.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm giving a random example here. Quarterly report week. Nobody's touching that table tennis board. It's there. They know it's there. But I feel like I just wouldn't do it for the sake of it. And the work culture as well is just so different from outside of work. When you're at work, you're there to work. So there's pressures, there's the work politics, there's lots of nuances in that space that you need to adjust to. So mixing both is difficult to manage.
Yeah.
In a way.
Yeah. Yeah. I get what you mean. It always feels like with those things, it's almost like, feels like you need permission almost to use it. You don't want to be
why do I want to ask permission?
The one person
exactly
doing it while everyone is. Yeah, okay.
Like, there might be like a game, whatever thing in the corner, PS5 in the workplace, and then your manager's encouraging you to play the game. People might do it for the first bit, but then after that, when it's time to get work done, you think people are gonna? I don't know. I that's just how I say it. I don't see. There needs to be a separation.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
I feel like I'm gonna eat my words in a bit. I don't know why, but there needs to be a separation.
Okay. Yeah. That makes sense. I get where you're coming from. I personally still think it can be, the second place can become that third space, but actually, I just want to focus on, I guess, what you said about, you're with your colleagues, you almost feel like they're just colleagues. You're not talking to them as you would with, I don't know, a friend in a third space.
Mm-hmm.
So just kind of looking at that, you spend however many hours, 40 hours a week with these guys. At
Mm-hmm.
that point, would you say that your workplace would be a community of people, or are you just, people that are associate by proximity just because you're close to each other?
It's a good question, to be fair. I think it depends on what you're doing in these spaces. Because technically, I'll give a gym as an example.
Mm.
You could go to the gym and not know who this guy is week in, week out,
Mm.
but you're at the gym with a common goal to get fit and to stay healthy,
Yeah.
right? I think it depends on the goal and why you're actually doing it and what you're doing in this sort of close proximity.
Mm.
37 hours a week, 40 hours a week with the same people. Your goal is literally to make the company money. Once you remove the company side of it, what's left? There's no emotional attachment anymore. There's no
Mm.
emotional engagement. So I feel like it's a tough question, to
Yeah.
be fair, but I feel like there can be a sense of community,
Mm.
but it's not going to be a strong one.
Yeah.
That's my hot take. I don't think it's
Yeah.
going to be a strong one because remove the company, remove the project, remove them.
Mm.
What do you actually know about can you actually emotionally connect with them? Can you
Mm.
emotionally help them? Is the goals that you have with them, can it be taken outside of just
Yeah.
the workspace?
Yeah.
Or is it just contained in that?
Yeah. I'm similar. I think for me, it has to be a goal, but I think it needs to be more of a personal one because I think you mentioned that obviously, yeah, with the company, that is the company goal. You're kind of working to help the company essentially.
Essentially.
So yeah, if you remove that, it would struggle to keep a sense of community because then what other goal do you have? There needs to be a personal goal. Whereas with the gym, even though you may not talk to this guy, your goals are kind of connected. They're all both personal. So, he's there to keep fit. He's there for, to hit certain gym targets. You're also there for the same thing. So that sense of common ground gives you a bit more, I think, leverage, more things to talk about compared to, I guess, with work, with a workplace community. So I guess that, almost kind of answers the next question, which was, at what point can a group of people become a community? And I guess for me, it's that sense of there needs to be a common goal that personally affects everyone there. I think there needs to be some sort of personal connection that it's something that affects you for it
Personally,
to be a community. I don't know. What do you think? Do you think similar or
No,
something else?
I do agree. And obviously that could be for good or for bad.
Mm.
Obviously, you could meet in a secret basement and
Yeah.
and plot some deviousness.
Mm.
Technically you're part of a community, you know?
Mm.
So yeah, I think we've sort of just mentioned it.
Yeah.
It depends on the goal, the interest, what
Mm.
you're sort of striving towards
Yeah.
and where it's coming from. The work is external. It's
Mm.
an external goal. Whereas with the gym is more of a personal goal that you're working with someone with essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Now, switching up, almost looking at it from a different angle. I was thinking back to some shows and movies that we watched. Train to Busan.
Oh
That
yeah.
was one. A
Oh yeah.
Quiet Place and Zom 100.
Okay. Oh,
Now, all of these have the same theme of it's an apocalypse type thing,
okay.
zombies or mysterious creatures that are there to attack you. All of these kind of end of the world scenarios.
Yeah.
And I've noticed with all of these three movies and shows, it's all about, a random group of strangers kind of banding together just so they can survive. So it almost feels like compared with like the workplace, that's more from, the top down almost. I think I like to call these one bottom up groups.
Okay.
It's starting from, a group of random people and then it progresses to become a larger kind of community. So I guess what I was thinking with that is, do you think that, communities that are built from random people banding together with a common goal would be stronger than be something like that a corporation has made. Maybe they put this new, I don't know, meeting place for people to go and play games. Do you think that community that gets built from that kind of corporate top-down approach is more likely to last compared to one that's been built from just a random bunch of people with the same goal from a random community all coming together? What do you think?
I think it's a very simple question. I'll be completely honest with you. As you're saying it, I'm like, yeah, no, that's pretty simple. The ones who are bottom up, the ones who are sort of grow into that community kind of thing space will survive longer because they're seeing each other in all different scenarios.
Yeah.
And in all different, you talked about Train to Busan, that it's high stakes, it's intense, this is stressful situations. And it's true, you know a lot about a person, how they handle stressful situations.
Yeah.
And if after, or like, not after, but like if even in those situations, you can still relate with this person, you can still befriend this person, that in itself is a close bond. Closer bond than an office environment where you've been lumped together. You're basically complete strangers, and the company's almost sort of forcing you to be jolly with each other, essentially. And the ones that do stick in the workplace anyway will take it outside of it.
Yeah, that is a good
They'll take it outside of it and build their community that way. And it's always going to be a shared interest. So back to the survivor shows, and they will survive purely because they have experienced almost every scenario together in that short span of time. So it's not just proximity anymore. It's not just, oh yeah, I'm next to this guy now. I'm next to this guy, and this is what we've both experienced at the same time.
Yeah.
This is a shared experience, and it's ones where emotions have been heightened in all regards, whether it's anger, it's scared, it's frightening, it's every emotion we've experienced together, and we've come out of it, and we're still friends. Yeah, mate, we're gonna survive anything.
Yeah.
Do you get my point?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like, yeah, corporation. I'll be honest. I sound like I just hate corporations. I really do.
Bring them down.
Yeah, I know, but I'm being serious. Like, there has to be a divide between the two, and if you can get out of that, for sure, that's great. You know, you take. I always aim to take a friendship out of the workspace and into the real world, but I don't want to hop on too long on this. But yeah, it's something like I feel very passionate about.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think I agree. I think as well, I feel like it feels like with these bottom up, communities that are built, it feels like more of an achievement. Like they've done something, like they can almost hold it like a trophy. Whereas, if your job has made this amazing ping pong place that you all just play, it doesn't feel quite as rewarding to go there and just enjoy your time there. It doesn't feel, you don't have that same sense of achievement that you get with a bottom-up community. So yeah, I agree on that same front. But it feels better with a bottom-up community because it feels like almost feels like everyone's contributed. Everyone's put their experience, their effort basically into making this community a thing.
And if you even think about it, bottom up means the foundation is solid.
Solid, yeah.
Rather than top down. The foundation is solid, so yeah, of course, you can survive anything. We're witnesses. We know about the illustrations of building on sand, building on rock, and the difference in foundations. It's true. With community, if you have a strong foundation, of course they're going to last longer when trouble comes.
And I guess I think as well, just kind of on that, was a question I kind of asked the others as well, was, what brought them into their third space? What was it? What was their driving force? Was it, these adverts that they saw on social media, or was it friends? And surprisingly, well, I don't know if it's surprisingly or unsurprisingly, almost all of them, it was always a friend that brought them into their third space. That
usually is, to be fair.
Yeah. And occasionally it was others like, social media, YouTube. But for almost every single person, friends was the first thing
The first thing.
they mentioned that brought them in. So I guess it does kind of show that, you know, for a lot of people, it's that sense of, you know, friendship, that almost shared experience that you can get with friends is what's bringing them to these third spaces. So it is quite an interesting thing to think about. And I guess as well, I guess that question's also kind of open up to all the listeners as well. That this episode, you can type down, you know, what was it that brought you into your third space, and what is your third space as well. Let us know. We'd love to see just how many different third spaces there are, because it could inspire, you know, people. Maybe someone's looking for their own third space, and that could be it. But now, kind of switching topics a little bit. I mentioned earlier at the very start that a lot of, you know, these third spaces are closing down, and a big part of that, or a big noticeable thing, is pubs. Now, there was an article that said that in 2025, nearly one pub a day closed in the UK. So that's quite a lot of pubs. So around 300 pubs closed in 2025. It is. Are you surprised when you heard that? Does that seem surprising, or do you think it's a bit kind of makes sense? What do you think?
I'll be honest. It did surprise me, actually, just because I know how much the pub culture is here in the UK. You finish work on a Friday. What you got plans for the weekend, mate? I'm just heading off to the pub.
Yep.
You know, it's the classic. So to hear that they're actually dying is actually quite surprising to me. I think when we sort of mentioned this a lot earlier, I talked about this place I went to in Leeds, and it's just a strip of just pubs and like clubs and stuff like that. Come to find out, literally months later, that at least half of them have gone.
Oh wow!
So, and I was very shocked because when I went into these spaces, maybe the time I went wasn't the best, but it looked quite full.
Yeah, live.
I would have thought this was something that would keep going, but I guess not.
Guess not. Yeah, the numbers apparently are showing that it's not. And yeah, I think I did hear a few people mention like their local pubs are closing. I think a few of my colleagues mentioned that some of them are closing down. And to be fair, there are a lot of factors that come into it. And I think some of the biggest things were they just weren't receiving enough money. There's just not enough support to keep it going. But I guess that kind of comes into, if, you know, pubs are this huge, you know, phenomenon. We all, or a lot of people, love to go to pubs. But if they're shutting down, doesn't that mean that maybe people aren't actually going to the pubs? So then the question is, do we actually need pubs? Do you think they're still necessary at that point?
I'll be honest. To me, pubs are the biggest third space, in my opinion. You're regularly coming to this place where you have a shared interest, which is drinking.
Yeah,
for a lot of people.
Watching football,
you know,
or whatever.
Or whatever it is, or even a pub quiz. A lot of people do that on a regular basis. They love a pub quiz. I know someone that used to love a pub quiz. They love a pub quiz, but yeah, I don't know. Pubs are like staple to me. So to see them sort of dying, is it an indicator people aren't going? I think what it is I think it's to do with money, capitalism. I'll be honest, because what it is that these pubs are trying to be authentic, especially because they're local. They want to be good to the people that they're in, they're serving. So they want to keep prices low. However, prices low, changing times, things are getting worse in terms of living conditions, and they're not able to adjust their pricing to suit living conditions at the moment. And if they do, they fear losing their customers.
Yeah, especially because I think a lot of people who go to pubs are usually long-term or customers that have been there going for time.
So they're gonna be like, you've served me this at £5, now it's £6. Next week is £7. Whoa! I'll find a new pub, mate. And that's what they're trying to. I think that's what they're fearing, and that's unfortunately leading to a downfall. You can't win.
Yeah,
you can't win because look at libraries. Libraries are the same.
Yeah,
Do you see many libraries nowadays?
Not
Do you
really,
know what I'm
nah.
saying? That's to me a perfect example of something dying just naturally. I think it's just
Natural
natural
thing.
order of things,
Yeah.
to be honest.
Yeah, it is a shame. It is a shame. I think you mentioned libraries. There's other third spaces that a lot of people like, parks, for example. And another big one is shopping centers or shopping malls. You've got
Interesting.
the
Oh,
Mary Hill
okay, hang on.
and all these
Didn't
kind
think
of
of that.
shopping areas a lot of people go to. So just kind of on that, I remember which was surprising. I saw on Instagram in preparation for this video, which made me think maybe my phone's listening to me. But I saw this thing about Milton Keynes. Now, what it mentioned was that there were a lot of young people that were spending their times in the Milton Keynes shopping centre.
Okay.
And there was a lot of people, like 100+ youngsters, all kind of loitering and spending their time around there. But it got to a point where actually the police were involved and they were actually trying to get or move the kids along, essentially get them out of the shopping centre because they
Okay.
viewed it as a disturbance.
Okay.
And from what I saw, it was a 50-50, in terms of response to how it was handled. I was seeing 50% of people saying that it shouldn't have happened. The only reason is because the youth don't have enough third spaces to even begin with. So they're kind of forced to go into the shopping centre. But then I was seeing the other 50% that I was like, yeah, shopping centres shouldn't be a third space for kids. Yeah, they're just going to ruin everything, make the experience terrible for people who are actually there for whatever, shopping or... So it was a 50-50. It was a split between the two. So I guess the question is almost a two questions, I guess, is shopping centres, do you think that they should be a third space?
Man, that's a if we're going by the term exactly, what third space is shared community. It's a social aspect. These kids being in a mall or shopping center together is a shared activity, is a shared community, social community. So if we're going to look at it literally, no, it can be. It's anywhere people congregate to, and it's a social thing. Third spaces build themselves so naturally that it's not like place and time, come at this time. It's one of those things where you can rock up to at any time, and there might be someone there that's also around your same age or whatever it is, and it can be applied to shopping centers, I think. Because I can, if that was where I frequent all the time, and I was to go to, let's just go to Mary Hill, for example, and I was to go there, I'm gonna see some of my friends at one point or another, and it's a social event at that point. It's a community, so I do get that side of it. However, do I think it should be a third space? No. Okay. Why don't I think? I think it's because, it's a very difficult one. There's other avenues that kids can take. There's places that are made for children. And the shopping center isn't made for that. It's made for shopping. However, to counteract my own point, there's a lot of shopping centers that have sort of areas where people can congregate and have a sort of social community too. It depends on the activities of the children and the people who are in there, what they're doing. Because if you're going bowling, if you're going to do arcades, all that stuff, that's great. In fact, I actively encourage that because it gets them out of the house. But if they're being disruptive, they're being a nuisance, at that point, it turns into a bad community. And the police can get involved. Because, again, I go back to the basement. If you're in a basement and you're cooking up some devious schemes, yes, it's a community, but it's still a bad one. And kids loitering around shopping centers, to me, is venturing into that bad community.
To be fair, I think I'm the same with shopping centers. For me, I think it shouldn't, because the purpose of it is shopping. You're there to spend money essentially on whatever it could be. Maybe there is a bowling place there, so if anything, that should be the third space, not the actual shopping center itself. So I think for me, I wouldn't view it as a third space, but I guess in this situation, I can understand probably why they were loitering there.
Okay.
But again, I wouldn't class that as a third space personally.
No, it is a weird one, to be fair. I think if we're going very granular, going by the books of what a third space is, then yeah, you could say that's what it is.
Yeah.
You know, but it's a bit too broad.
Yeah.
And it covers a multitude of things. Like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, thinking about the money aspect, right? Because we mentioned bowling, you know, all these different activities, they require some sort of payment, some sort of money that's involved. And I think a lot of third spaces that a lot of people enjoy, there is some sort of money aspect to it. Gyms, you pay a subscription to go to. All these other clubs, like we mentioned earlier with the motorsports squash club, that's something you have to pay for. So I guess one of the questions I had, and I asked everyone else as well, was with these third spaces, how much are you willing to spend on these third spaces? What's your upper limit? Let's go for like a one-time payment and a monthly. If you were to, one activity was to be one-off or one activity was to be a monthly subscription, what's your upper limit?
Okay, so my upper limit, I think upper limit has to just be based on what I currently already pay, you know, in a sense.
Yeah.
So £25 gym membership.
Yeah.
Upper limit would probably only be £30.
£30.
I'll be honest. A month, that is. Yeah. Yeah, because that to me that seems reasonable. That seems reasonable. I'm getting access to a facility.
Yeah.
I'm getting access to something, right? Even if it's just to go into like a big room and talk to people, I'm getting access to something in a way that money is well spent as a £30 limit for me. Anything higher than that is just a bit too much. And I think as a one time can probably go a little bit higher than that. I think it would be probably venturing into the hundreds for the yearly, like, well, not even yearly. You said one time.
Yeah, just like a one time.
Mate, if it's something I can keep going back to and someone put a price on it, my upper limit will probably be £200.
200.
I think that's fair.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's fair. It depends on the activity. It depends on the third space. It depends on why I'm there. You know, if we're gonna look at games, for instance, how much am I spending to be part of this community?
Yeah.
And maybe how much I've already spent to be part of this community anyway.
Yeah.
You know, yeah.
I think that's valid. I think for me, I'm similar. I think for me, for the monthly one, I think I'm always looking for what am I getting out of it as well. So like with you mentioned you get a facility, you know, depending on how good that facility is, how many different things I can do with that facility or in that facility. I think for me, I think the max per month I would spend probably be around 50. I think it's £50 a month. If, you know, they say it's a gym. If it came with like, I don't know, a swimming pool as well, £50. I think that's
using the swimming pool.
Yeah, of course. I mean, why wouldn't I? If it comes with it.
Wow.
To be fair, I'll say that, but then...
You say that, I'll be honest with you.
I'll go like once a year or something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I know that. Hand on heart. I used to do that Everlast gym. It came with a sauna and swimming pool. Never touched it once. I went there for months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, so I think for me, £50 max per month. I think for one-off payment, I'll be around the same. I'd say 200 is roughly the max I'd spend. I guess, yeah, it depends on the activity. Because, yeah, it depends on the activity. But I think anything past 200, it would have to be really good for me to, or really worth it for me to do it. Like, I wouldn't mind going over it, but it would have to be like really good for me to go past that.
I don't know. What's really good then?
So like, what would be really good? What would I class as really good? Like if it was one of those all day, you know, activities where it's like you'll do a bunch of different activities for the day. It'll be like a circuit of, you know, 3-4 different activities that you do. I've seen some of those where it'll be like, I don't know, go-karting, laser tag, bowling, you know, those like package deals almost.
Okay.
Like those kind of things where it's like, if there's multiple things I'm doing,
Yeah.
wouldn't mind. Or even like to say with like a concert, for example,
Mm-hmm.
like obviously some tickets will be ridiculous priced. Depending on who it is and like the lineup, I might consider, spending however much to go, especially if there's also friends I'm going with as well. I
Okay.
wouldn't mind. So I think that's where I'm a bit nuanced with how high I'll be willing to go. Yeah, I think it has to be really worth my time to go
That's
any higher.
interesting. I don't know. You're just putting a value on the facility and
Yeah,
the activity.
probably.
It can depend, you know? You might like skydiving. That's your community.
Yeah.
You have a team of skydivers that like to go skydiving constantly.
Yeah. Or
It's
people who
very
do skiing
expensive.
as well.
Sorry, say that again?
People who do skiing
Oh, skiing.
as well. That's a very expensive hobby.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it's expensive,
Mm.
you know? So for them, they're probably picking higher. They're probably picking £60, £70 a month.
Yeah.
One-off payment of £500, £1,000, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Do we need to quantify it then?
True. That's a good
I
point.
think should community should be free?
That is a good question. Do you think then with spending money in these communities, do you think that putting that kind of gate almost with the money aspect, do you think that diminishes the level of communityness or how attractive that community is if there's almost like this gated paywall behind it? Or do you think that it doesn't really matter that much?
I think it matters in getting new people on board because depending on how many people are doing whatever it is that you're doing within your community, will determine what people decide to pick. Because if it's a saturated field and there's tons of people doing it, making gyms, whatever it is, making communities in the same niche, then it would be a case of other factors, other external factors, rather than what the community actually brings to that person. Distance, time, when it happens, cost, all of these have become a factor. In a way, if there's money involved, it's sort of to give back to the community, to sort of show appreciation for the community. So a monetary value can be there, but again, it just depends on what the community is, what is being done in the community as well.
Yeah, I think it's the same. I think it also depends on the community because there are some activities where for it to have a community that functions, there has to be a paywall. You have to contribute some
way.
Sort of money to it. So not having so to diminish it just because you have to pay, it doesn't quite work, doesn't quite sit well.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
No.
So I think it's an interesting question to think about. I guess it's more of a question is what price would you put on communities? Is there a price that you put on a certain
There should
community?
be no price.
Yeah. Ideally there shouldn't be, but I guess sometimes there kind of has to be to keep it running.
If you understand the ins and outs of a community, if you understand what it actually takes to do these regular meetups, if it's renting out a hall, you might contribute a bit to it, of course. That makes sense.
Yeah.
And it depends how close you are to that community as well. If you're not that close, to me, it should be like a free trial.
Yeah.
If I like it, I'll pay. If I don't, I just leave. Simple as. What you don't want is sunk cost fallacy.
Yeah. It's
where
I'm
paying for it.
So
why not?
have to.
And good case in point, the gym. Gyms benefit of people forgetting that they have a subscription.
Yeah.
And it's sunk cost fallacy at that point. I put so much money in. Two things will happen. Either I just keep on paying and then you forget that it exists. Or the second one is that it actually motivates you to actually go and utilize it because you're paying for it. You've already put money into it.
Yeah.
So why am I going to lose the amount just by not going?
Yeah.
So double-edged sword. And when it comes to adding money to communities, it's a double-edged sword, I think.
It's interesting. But a very big segue. We're going into the trivia section.
For trivia.
So this is going to be a bit surprising for Theo. We've got 3 different headlines. Now, for each of these headlines, I just want to see if you think they're true or they're false or they're real or fake.
Okay.
So the first one, it says a town in Sweden installed social benches with built-in chessboards and wireless charging. Is this real or fake?
That sounds real, man. It's Sweden.
Mm.
Come on, man. The quality of life over there is fantastic. You think they're gonna be? Yeah, it's true.
True. Well, the answer is true.
Of course.
It is true.
Of course. Come on now.
It is a thing.
I'm a goat.
They did install these benches that have built-in chessboards, wireless charging. Very interesting. So I guess I'll just kind of, since we're on that kind of topic, do you think this is a good thing to have? Do you think that you can see this going forward being put or implemented in a lot of places or not?
Not in the UK.
Not in the UK.
Not in the UK for sure. But no, it's good. I think it's great because again, you're doing more activities in a shared space.
Yeah.
Again, it's good for driving that community. You might sit down with someone that plays chess and boom, you've just got a friendship right there.
True. Yeah.
And, we talked about wireless charging in the last episode. So it finally has some use,
Yeah.
Like we mentioned, you have to keep your phone away.
Yeah.
And that's a distraction. I'm just connecting the pieces here. That's actually really good.
Yeah.
That's a good way to get people off their phones and actually interact.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking as well.
If you think about it.
Mm.
So I think it's a good thing. Will I see it in the UK? Not for a while.
Yeah.
Sweden's different. The rest of the world is just different, I think. It's too fast paced, I think, here in the UK. So probably won't see that here, which is unfortunate.
Okay. Well, second headline.
Okay.
This one says, a Japanese cafe charges a loneliness tax. There is actually a discount if you sit at a communal table. Is that real or false? So, Japanese cafe, they charge a loneliness tax, and this won't apply if you sit with a group of people.
I'm confused what this even means.
So basically, if you're alone, you pay extra. If you're with someone, you'll pay less.
That's peak.
Yeah. Do you think this is real or fake?
It's Japan, man. They do some wacky stuff sometimes, man. I won't say false, but I won't be surprised if it's true. I won't say false, though.
The answer to that is it's true.
Huh?
It is true. There's a few Japanese cafes, they have that, where they'll charge you a loneliness tax if they find that you're sitting alone. But if you end up joining a group of people, it doesn't necessarily have to be people you know, but just joining a communal table with a bunch of people will reduce or get rid of that loneliness tax that they add on.
Why?
Well, again, just to encourage people to sit together, to get that sense of community going, and also I think as well to stop people from loitering as well, or to reduce the amount of people who just hug up an entire table, essentially. So, but I guess the question on that is, do you think that's effective? Do you think that's
now
a good
that you
thing?
said why? Because initially my initial reaction was, what? Come on, paying extra just to sit on my own? Come on now, that's not fair.
Yeah.
But now I like that because if, like you say, it forces you to reach out to people, even if it's just somebody on the next table and he's on his own, so that we don't pay the tax. Let's band together. There's your common goal. There's your common interest, and then from talking you get more interest, and that's how friendships are built up. Oh, okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Actually,
I think when I saw that, initially I was like, that's peak. Imagine if you have no friends, just you constantly paying. But it's a good way of just finding new friends, finding new people to talk to. I guess because I guess a lot of people, they just you need something. I think for a lot of people, it's that struggle of that initial, what do I talk about? So just having that. Well, I'm sitting down. Since we're both together, we'd have to pay the tax. That's already like a small thing that you can start off with, but that will help to, drive the conversation, move it on to the next topic, maybe, where you from, what school you go to, blah, 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 what do you do?
Go from there.
Yeah.
Build the true, real relation. Okay.
So I thought it was quite interesting, I guess. I guess the other question is, do you think it would be a bit of a deterrent for people? Do you think it might harm them a little bit? Because it's almost
the business
driving,
itself?
Yeah, the business a bit. It's actually kind of forcing you to be with someone or else you pay extra. Do you think that might be a bit of a deterrent for people?
I'm going to say this as ambivert. I like my space, but I do like interacting with people. I yap a lot, as people probably know. So for me, I like the freedom of being able to choose whether I sit on my own or be with somebody. I'm not being forced to. It's sort of forced. I could defiantly just say, no, I'm not, I don't care, I'll pay it.
Yeah.
It is what it is. Double the price, say less. But that's me coming as an ambivert. I think coming in from another view of an extrovert, maybe, it's a bit different. Because maybe they want to be on their own more. And there was a thing actually I saw on TikTok, this was a while ago, people were doing this. Sorry?
You mean introvert?
Did I say
You said extrovert.
Whoops, my bad. Introvert. Sorry. There's this thing I saw on TikTok of people doing activities alone as a form of therapy almost.
Yeah.
So they'll go out for lunches by themselves. It's something I rarely do myself.
Yeah, same. I could
can't
never
do
do
it.
that, bro. I feel so lonely.
It feels weird. I'll give you another example. Look at the cinema. I never used to go to the cinema without Josh or anyone else there. But then I've actually started going on my own recently. And yeah, it's actually really good
Bad, yeah.
because you're not relying on someone else's time. You're not relying on that other person having to commit to this one task. Maybe they don't like the movie that you're going to.
Yeah.
Maybe they don't like the thing. Maybe they're just not in the mood at that time. There's so many external factors that you have to worry about when it comes to another person. So doing things on your own is good. So bring it to the UK. It's gonna have mixed results.
Yeah.
That's for sure. I'm not too sure. I get the point. And I think it's a very nice thing that they want to do. I just don't think taking away people's choice is good. Yeah.
Yeah. Good point. Yeah, I think it's very interesting to think about. Given that choice, I think people need that choice. So yeah, no, it's an interesting topic. But anyway, the last headline number 3. So this one says, at the end of 2025, the UK government passed a law requiring every new housing development to include a licensed pub. Do you think this is real?
Given what we just talked about, pubs dying, I'm going to say false.
Yep, it is false. That one is false. But I guess the question is, do you think that could work? Do you think this could revive the pub if they were to pass something like this?
Depends how much the UK values pubs.
Yeah, I guess that's good point.
Pubs are a very in-person thing. It just depends how much they value it.
Yeah.
Does the UK value pubs like that? They do. It's part of their culture, but we can see it's dying.
Yeah.
So that's not the way to do it. It's to revitalize something that's dying. If they treasured it that much, there's other ways of doing it. There's definitely other ways of doing it in terms of subsidies and how much they pay, in terms of renting the property and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And importing goods and wine and beer and all that stuff. There's ways the UK government can, but clearly if they're not making the movements and they haven't started making the movements, it's not really top of their priority, if anything.
Yeah, nah, that's true. Anyway, that was our trivia section. Let us know in the comments how many you got right. Don't cheat, because I know a lot of you are going to say 3 out of 3. Yeah, but almost kind of related to that last headline about the pubs. We were talking about is there a replacement for pubs? And for a lot of people, it's online. It's online. It's Discord servers. It's Reddit. I don't know, boards. What do you think? Do you think that these online forums, these online servers can be the next replacement for the pubs?
Yes, it's a simple answer, but yeah, things are going more digital. People are online a lot more. I'm always a big advocate for some sort of human interaction, whether it be and a voice at a minimum. That's me.
Yeah.
Texting, I hate texting. I feel like my WhatsApp status is just call me, because it's true. I feel like I get a lot of things done when I speak to people, and I convey a lot more emotion when I do that as well, rather than text. So these are online forums. If they're including voice, yeah, of course. And video, of course, yeah. I think so. I think there'll be a very good replacement for pubs.
So you don't think that there needs to be like a physical, either like physical location or like a physical, face-to-face aspect to third space? Do you think it can just be virtual, digital? Because for me, I don't know. I feel like there needs to be some sort of physical, you know, face to face, hand to hand, being able to be there rather than just being online. I don't know. It doesn't feel genuine as a physical in person third space interaction compared to an
Mm.
online one. That's how I view it.
What about it don't you feel is genuine?
I guess, well, obviously, I guess you did mention that you can have things like voice chat and all that kind of stuff. But I guess it's just that in person interaction. I think it has
Okay.
a different feel to an online interaction. I
Okay.
guess just, I guess, for me, I think it's just the vibes. I think the vibes you get in person just feel much, I don't know, just feels more real compared to online.
What deeper you mean?
Yeah, deeper. Yeah, like there's
Mm.
more of a connection between two people, and yeah, I guess you can still have that online. I guess online dating is still a big thing, but I don't know. I feel like that there still needs to be that physical, and I guess is why a lot of these online communities do end up moving sometimes to they'll have these one-off, physical events that they will organize and stuff.
Yeah.
So for
Yeah.
me, I don't know. I always think that for me, I don't think it can replace it. I think that there needs to be a physical third space.
I think interesting. That is an interesting point, but here's why I don't agree.
Mm.
Because as you said, eventually it will move into real life anyway.
Yeah.
And yes, it might take a longer time for connections to be deeper
Mm.
online because you're missing the all the aspects, touch, taste, feel, all the aspects of
Mm.
in real life discussions, whereas online is literally purely visual. You're missing all of that when you're online for sure, but it's doable. And with the space that we're in now
Mm.
in 2026, yeah, people are going more online. I'm annoyed as you because the other side of it is the children as
Mm.
well. They're always online.
Right.
You can probably go to that spider park that we mentioned at the beginning.
Yeah. We
Will you
empty.
see anybody there? No. Back then we had, bro, we didn't have a phone.
Yeah.
And we just knew
You.
to go to the park at
Yeah.
a certain time. You look outside the window, everyone's
Just there.
outside. I'm there.
Mm.
Oh, it's a massive basketball tournament. Yo, get Billy from down the road. Boom, boom.
Mm.
Everyone comes to this same space, and it was good because it's in person. Online is making it easier to do that same thing.
Mm.
I feel. Yeah.
Okay.
Online is making it easier.
So it's the ease for connection.
Ease of connection is a lot better. Because
That's true,
again,
yeah.
people who might be insecure about certain things or whatever can start to just use that as their sort of gateway to getting friends. And after time, once your connection with that friend is getting deeper, maybe you might start revealing more things about yourself, your face, sort of maybe what you're insecure about. And if at that point they still are your friend, then you get further and further, and eventually you go into the in-person. By that point, you've built such a deep relationship with this person online, and then in person, it's just even better. You can still be fake in person. I know you mentioned about genuine, but you can still be fake in person too.
Yeah.
Of course, you can always fake interactions, but I feel like we're moving towards that sort of online forum kind of thing. And we have been.
Yeah.
We've been there for a while. It's just where we're going to go from here. I don't know.
Point. No, I see your point. Yeah, there's that ease of communication, but I guess that you mentioned there's always negatives with stuff like this, and I guess the biggest one, at least I've seen a lot, is, since there is this almost anonymity, you can kind of hide yourself. You don't need to reveal everything about yourself online. Do you think that means that there's always going to be more toxicity, more people who, are just negative and like bring down, just are generally toxic? Do you think there's more of that in person or online?
Good question. I didn't actually think of this one. I think it's pretty balanced. I'm gonna say it's pretty balanced between the two, because you can be toxic, online. But I think from my perspective, it's a lot easier to sort of distance yourself from that
Mm.
online. It's a simple case of I just turn on my screen.
I just mute, block,
Oh, mute,
whatever.
block.
Yeah.
There's so many things you can do. You have more power online, is what I've noticed. You have more power to do things to stop toxicity online when you're online. Whereas I think in person, because things happen socially, it can be sort of subtle as well. You know, someone might be talking down on you subtly,
Yeah.
but you don't know this until more and more interaction, and you feel like you don't feel yourself around this person anymore, and it's more subtle. So maybe that sort of toxicness in person can be to a greater extent than it is online. But I think both are shared in terms of the amount of exposure you get to
Yeah.
toxicity.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. Now, to be fair, I think I'm fairly similar. I think for me, I think there's probably slightly more toxicity online, but to a lesser degree. Whereas in person, there's less, but the degree of toxicity, or I guess the negatives that come from it, feel a bit higher. Because
Okay,
obviously there's
interesting.
that, you know, like you mentioned, that subtle, you know, talking down, making someone feel bad. It feels, yeah, it's a lot. It does more damage, I think, compared
Okay.
to online. Yeah, anyone can say, I know you're fat or something. Yeah. Like, but it doesn't hurt as much compared to someone in person saying that same thing. So
Yeah.
I think that for me, I felt like there is more toxicity online, but it doesn't feel as impactful, or it
Okay.
doesn't feel as negative. Like it wouldn't have so much of a negative impact. Obviously there'll always be extremes, but
Okay.
I think in general, it feels less hurtful compared to in person
Okay.
third space toxicity, obviously.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a fair point, to be fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do get what you mean. Like, there's positives and negatives to both, as we've both seen. Can't say one is better than the other. I guess it just comes down to the person,
Yeah.
how they want to deal with it, and how they deal with things in person and in real life and online. Because like I mentioned, just block them, mute them,
Yeah.
whatever. Find another community that's not so toxic. Whereas
Yeah.
it's a bit harder in person to do that.
Yeah.
But then again, it's why you're surrounding yourself with that person in the first place. Find another community. The same advice can be given to both, essentially.
I guess it just feels a bit harder to do that in person because now, let's say it's a local community that you used to go to.
Yeah.
Now you have to travel a bit further now to get to
a new one.
new
Yeah.
one.
If it's a book club, all of a sudden toxicity is too much for you. Where you're gonna go find another book club?
Yeah.
Maybe there's the only one in town.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a interesting thing to think about. And I guess one thing I was thinking about, which we'll probably talk a bit more about this in greater detail in another episode, but with regards to, you know, the toxicity that we see, I think mainly online now, a lot of it, well, for me personally, I feel like a lot of that probably comes from this sense of wanting to be to compete, almost like to be the best.
Okay.
Almost. Do you think that's the case? Do you think that people are being toxic, you know, because they're really competitive, or they really want to be the best, or they're looking down on people? What do you think about that toxicity? What could be causing it?
I mean, depending on where the toxicity is coming from, whether online or in person. Unfortunately, the world we're living in now is very me first approach. Everyone's thinking about themselves and what they can get out of people. And because of that, they're not able to really connect and really understand what others are saying and speaking to them about.
Yeah.
They get defensive when someone says something. They take it out on someone else, and that just breeds toxicity. And it's an endless cycle, all because people are thinking about themselves. So when it comes to like competitiveness, people are competing to stay on top. People are sort of making sure that I'm better than you. As long as I've read 46 laws of power, so I know all the manipulation tactics that you're doing, and I'm going to do them right back. And now that person's like, well, I see you're doing the same thing, so I'm going to do the same thing back. And it's just that struggle of who can one up, who can be better version, who can control this person. And that sense of competitiveness is probably what again, just feeds more toxicity more
Yeah.
than anything.
I agree. I think, yeah, for it, I think, yeah, a lot of it is that sense of you. I mean, no one wants to be bad
Of course.
at anything. So, if you do happen to be good at something, I guess that does quite easily lead into a lot of negative feelings towards others if they don't match or meet up to your standards almost of, oh yeah, I'm good at this, I can do this. You
Mm.
almost kind of, you're holding me back kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
Interesting.
maybe that, I feel like
Interesting.
that's a good cause of it.
Although, just based on that, what you just said there, the thing can be made is that are people just joining these communities where they are the better.
While they're trying to get better.
If they're trying to get better,
Yeah.
they wouldn't be with people who are lower than them.
Yeah.
It's just facts. You wouldn't. You'd be with people who are better than you, so you can challenge yourself.
Mm.
Guess is due to ego
Yeah.
for a lot of people. You know, you go to the community that is weak. Maybe you go to a book club and you read 10 books a day.
Mm.
Everyone else 1 book a month. So you lord it over them.
Yeah.
Guys, read all these books. What are you guys doing
Mm.
to make yourself seem better? But I just gone on to you. Just
Mm.
that point you just made. I was just like, yeah. The thing is, why don't people just go to where they belong? If that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. Nah, that's a good point. That's a good point. And I guess, yeah, to be fair, that does tie in nicely with our next episode because it's a lot of, you mentioned about ego. We're looking for, yeah, almost to get better at stuff, or we're looking for things that challenge us,
Mm,
and to almost overcome that.
mm.
So I guess there's that feeling of maybe, you know, why are we seeking, to find these more difficult, more challenging things? Why are we
Are
seeking
we?
that? Or are we? Yeah, that's a
Are
good
we
question.
actually seeking challenging things?
Mm,
No, I think we are. I
so
definitely think we are.
yeah, I think so too. I mean, just looking online, we're looking at, how many challenge videos do you see come up with, I don't know, games? They'll be like, oh, playing this game blindfolded,
That's
or
true.
playing this game without a keyboard, or something,
Something
ridiculous
ridiculous.
challenges. Or even a lot of times when people set goals for themselves, it's usually in the form of a challenge.
Mm,
They're trying to, oh,
75 hard.
yeah,
50. Do you know what that is, by the way?
no, what was that?
75. It's 75 days. Basically, it's like there's a list of things that you have to do in
Yeah.
those 75 days. It's just to like switch
Oh,
your
okay.
mindset quick, like
Yeah.
cut out this, drink only water, wake up at this time, and people do that as a set challenge for themselves.
Wow.
That's actually
Mm,
fair. It's an
well,
interesting about challenges. I think
yeah.
we're in a very fitness world right now.
Mm,
I know we sort of touched on the gym
mm,
a bit. We're very fitness orientated. And actually, I wanted to just bring out because I did speak to some people as well. I didn't mention at the
mm,
beginning, but in terms of what their third spaces are.
yeah.
And I think as you were saying what your friends were saying as a third space,
Mm,
it made me think the vast majority of the people I asked, their third space is the gym.
yeah.
Their third space is a physical activity. Paddle. I've heard paddle being
Yeah.
part of one. Shout out Isabel. Um, I've heard people talk going to the park. These are physical
Physical,
activities
yeah.
as their third space. Shout out, Carrie, and also Chris as well. But it's a lot more physical activities
Mm,
that people are doing, and I think it's indicative of the kind of person you are as well.
mm,
If your friends also value the same sort of third spaces as
yeah.
you as well at the same time. I know you mentioned like a friends have a broad range of
Mm,
things that they consider their third spaces. Question is
mm.
for me to you, where do they sit in terms of friendships?
Friendships. What do you mean by that?
Are they close friends? Are they
Ah,
acquaintances?
okay. I see what you mean.
Where do they sit?
To me personally?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they're definitely not acquaintances.
Okay.
100%. Yeah, no. They'll have to be close friends.
Yeah.
I guess, yeah. I mean, I think the surprising thing that I think about is, well, I think we used to be a lot closer because we're all working the same place. I think now that
Mm-hmm.
we've moved, there's a bit of a separation, but we still have our chat where we all still communicate, and there's still that, sense of friendship and like groupness in it.
But you just said
Yeah, I know what you mean.
they're work friends.
Offense.
Trying to get the two
Mm.
second space into your third space by having all these varied interests that you all share together.
Mm.
Maybe you want to go to a concert. You've never been to a concert before.
Yeah.
You want to try it out. Maybe you want to go to paddle. I've never done paddle before.
Mm.
I want to try it out because my friends have done it.
True.
You know? Yeah, that is
I guess,
that
yeah.
sort of jumping from the second to the third.
Okay, yeah. I see what you mean. Yeah, nah, you make a valid point. Well, I agree.
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, no, it is a good point. It's a good point. Yeah, you're trying to escape. We're trying to get out of that and move into something external. So yeah, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess we did go full circle.
It is. Just before your next point, I just wanted to say it's weird because as I was thinking of third spaces before this podcast started, a friend of mine said that her third space was the mosque.
I mean,
We've
I
been
was
talking
thinking
about
about-
a lot of activities and community spaces and stuff like that, but place of worship, I don't actually think about that.
Mm,
But it is. It's
Is
essential.
a third
It's
space.
the definition of what a third space is a sense of community, a social aspect of it. You are learning, so there's a goal, there's a common interest. So yeah, us going as witnesses were going to the kingdom halls and stuff like that. That is that community. It's a third space. That is a third space for us.
Yeah.
So yeah, religious activities are also a form of third space as well.
Yeah. I think it's really just highlighted there's so many third spaces that we're probably all part of that we don't actively think about or don't actively realize that it is a third space. Like we said at the start, when people hear that, it takes some time for them to really think about what am I actually part of? And yeah, there'll be a surprising number that have a lot of third spaces that they don't realize that, do count or are that third space. And you don't necessarily just have to have one as well. I think there's that misconception of it has to be the one thing. So it's just gym or it's just, I don't know, this club. But actually it could be multiple. You're not limiting, no one should be limited to just one.
Interesting.
One thing. It should be, again, at the end of this community. So you can be part of as many communities as you really wanted to at the end of the day.
That's interesting, actually, because it never used to be like that. I mentioned pubs.
Yeah.
That was probably the only thing.
Yeah.
You do that, you come home.
Yeah.
Simple as that. I think the landscape's changing. People are doing a lot more. Like you say, people are trying to find a challenge, trying to do new things. Paddle. Never done paddle before. Someone's tried it. Let's do it. I go to the gym. Never done gym before. Let's do it. Let's go to the gym.
Yeah.
Now you have two things you do. Maybe you have to balance your time out with them. But I also like to do this on a regular basis. I like to do part of this community. So yeah, things have changed with the help of online.
Just to round off this episode, the final question I have, this is a big one.
Okay.
If you could only pick one, you had to pick a choice between one or the other one gets permanently destroyed, never to be seen again all over the world. Which one would you pick to save? The local pub or the local chippy or kebab shop? So the pub or the chippy/kebab shop?
What kind of question is this? What kind of question is this? Because you know the answer, man.
Yeah, I know your answer.
Well, I don't care about the pub. Sorry, guys, to the ones that are listening, I don't care about a pub. A chippy? Come on. Yeah. My local boss, man. Yo, I'll take the kebab any day.
100%, yep.
Boss, man, get me the chips, large. Bro, I can even taste it. The salt, the vinegar, delightful. You telling me I'll have that? And or Weatherspoons. I don't know, mate.
Yeah,
I think we're a bit biased, unfortunately. If we ask other people, they'll probably say something else.
Anyway, but I think that kind of nicely wraps up this episode. I guess we, kind of looked into what is a third space, what our community is, how our communities are informed. So yeah, it's been a very good week, good topic to discuss. And I guess, I mentioned it briefly, but next week we'll kind of look more into that, competitiveness. Why are we always seeking a challenge? Why are we trying to make things harder? Is there this sense of accomplishment that we're, always striving for or trying to look, or is it just, something that we just have personally? Maybe
Interesting.
our egos are just always like that. So yeah, we'll be talking about, different things, speed running, maybe different
Oh,
difficult hobbies a lot of people have, or all these kind of things we'll talk about in our next episode. So yeah, make sure you sharpen up, make sure your reflexes are up to par, because yeah, next week's going to be quite the interesting topic with difficulty and especially the sweatiness that a lot of people mention in games. So yeah, but yeah, it was a good episode.
good.
So
Yeah.
yeah, we'll see you in the next one.
Yep. Adios.
Peace.